everyone. I hope that you are doing so very well. I wanted to share a story with you. The story of Santa Claus is one a lot of us grew up with. Learning about the experiences of magic, that is Yuletide, and the songs about good old Saint Nick, and leaving out milk and cookies for him on Christmas Eve as a magical part of so many people's childhood. I remember being young and thinking, how does he get around the world in one night? But as we got older, the world around us seems intent on convincing us that it was not cool or acceptable to believe in something magical, something we cannot immediately understand with our logical minds. So I wanted to share a story with you that I have not shared with many people. I hope it's something that will inspire some hope and magic this holiday season. Back in 2012, I had a profound experience on the winter solstice. If you remember, that coincided with the last day of the Mayan calendar. Many of us now know that energy changed in the world that day, and it was like a veil had been lifted. Well, that was the day when, for whatever reason, the light switch inside of me turned on, and with that, all of my spiritual gifts. It was on that day I realized that I had been suppressing my connection with Spirit. That experience awakened my soul and put me on the path to my spirituality. It awakened me from all my years of slumber. Ever since that day, I have been acutely aware of the magic that can happen at this time of year. Some call it a Christmas miracle, some the winter solstice, and others simply call it December 21st. For most of my life, I have experienced health challenges, mostly various autoimmune challenges. As my soul went through this newfound awakening, some of those issues came to a cataclysmic result. 3 years later, in 2015, I found myself in a hospital bed the week before Christmas. Although things weren't as bad as they'd been in the past, or in hindsight, as bad as they were going to get, no one loves being in the hospital, especially right before the holidays. I've always been able to sense things, but often ignored them or pretended they didn't exist. I could be in a space and know that something else was there with me and get a sense of energy from it. I know that others can sense things too. We often think it's bad or scary because we don't understand what it is. The unknown is often unsettling. When I would fall asleep, I would often hear people talking to me or calling out my name, or sometimes saying things I wasn't sure I wanted to hear. I remember thinking, why do they always want to talk to me right before I'm going to sleep? Well, that was because at that time in my life, it was the only time my vibration was high enough to be open to receiving these messages. I knew energy and spirit were all around, and that there was a whole universal aspect of life. but I was not sure I was ready to fully embrace that part of who I was. I continued my life like that for many years and had done an excellent job suppressing them, or so I had thought. When that light switch flipped on, everything became clear. And yet I understood that there was so much to learn and had so many more questions. That day on the winter solstice was the day I stepped into my full relationship with Spirit, the divine, and I awakened to my purpose. So in 2015, as I was lying in the hospital bed, contemplating life and trying my best to focus on the Christmas magic I could still harness, even if I was not at a magical winter solstice event, when it happened, that was when I saw Santa Claus walk through the wall. Red suit, holly jolly, Saint Nick. The hospital can be a very active place for someone who is sensitive to energy, who can see and hear spirit, but never in my life did I expect to see that. Surprisingly, my first thought was not fear or disbelief, but I remember thinking, okay, things are about to get really interesting. As Santa walked closer to my bed, I did what any person would do. I said, "Hi, Santa." He walked over to my bedside and held my right hand. And as he did this, he shared his trade secrets with me, and my mind was officially blown. In that moment, I remember thinking, this makes so much sense. Before I tell you a little of what Santa said, it is important to understand that everything is an energy frequency. As humans, we are made up of billions of particles that are made out of energy. Therefore, we are energy. And anything is possible if we tap into the right frequency of that energy. Here is what Santa told me. He said, if spirit is energy, and energy can be everywhere or anywhere, then we all have been looking at Santa the wrong way. He is not a physical man that comes down our chimneys at night and leaves us a physical gift under the tree. He does something much more important. Santa is energy. Whether believing is seeing or seeing is believing, Santa is spirit energy. Just like how the universe is energy, and we know that there is something larger in ourselves, in the universe. Because Santa is this energetic frequency, he can be anywhere and everywhere, all at the same time. Spirit frequency knows no time, and therefore, time does not exist. That, for me, solved the question of how he travels around the world in one night and visits every child while they sleep. What he continued to tell me was that every Christmas Eve, he visits the heart of every child and person who believes in the magic of Christmas. He might not come in a physical form, but he manifests energetically He delivers the most powerful and profound gift to those believers. To a child or an adult who has an open heart to the power of belief, he gives them the gift of Christmas spirit. Christmas spirit is something that will mean different things to different people. For some, it is peace on earth, kindness to another person, the charity of giving and helping those in need, good tidings and cheer. For others, it may mean something else. But the magic of Christmas, the kind of magic that can bring miracles, is the Christmas spirit. That frequency of peace, joy, blessings, and gratitude for all that we already have in our lives. That kind of frequency can bring peace on earth in every person that opens their heart to have it more. To me, that is the most important gift of all. One that is surrounded by unconditional love from the universe, from God. Miracles, kindness, belief, peace, and happiness to the human soul. So as Santa stood there holding my hand, he asked me if my heart was open to receive the Christmas spirit. Of course I said yes. As he leaned down and kissed my forehead to give me the gift of the Christmas spirit, I felt the cells in my body as they reawakened to the magic that Santa Claus had just gifted me. As the spirit of Christmas was now inside of me, he said his goodbyes, gave me a good old-fashioned Santa wink of his eye, touched my nose with his finger, and said, "See you next year." Then he left the same way he came and walked back through the wall to deliver the Christmas spirit to another person. The very next day, I was told I'd be going home for Christmas. Some may not view that as a Christmas miracle, but I sure considered it to be one. Since that day, I have seen Christmas differently. It's not about a gift under the tree. It is, in fact, about filling our hearts with the magic of the Christmas spirit and all forms of magic, and tapping in to that energy frequency. So this holiday season, even though life may have brought you in a different direction that makes it hard to believe in Santa, or perhaps you and your family want to incorporate a new tradition, one that doesn't cost anything, but will give you the very best gift, I encourage you to try and open your hearts to the magic that can be had and experienced by believing and allowing the Spirit of Santa to give you the most important gift you can get at Christmas, the Christmas spirit. Be well. Have the most incredible holiday season, and stay inspired.